This is Tusculum College football, and this is the Jerry Odom Show. The Jerry Odom Show is brought to you in part by your Greenville Light and Power System, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1947. Sodexo, proud food supplier of Tusculum College. By Creekside Markets, stop in and pick up a Hunt Brothers pizza today. By Premier Transportation, the official bus provider for Tusculum College Athletics. And brought to you in part by Comcast. The Jerry Odom Show begins now. The Tusculum Pioneers and the Mars Hill Lions renew the rivalry for the 33rd time. Hello again, everyone. Brian Stayton for the Jerry Odom Show, to be joined by Coach O coming up here in just a moment. Both of these teams were coming off impressive victories from the week prior. Mars Hill with a convincing 49-0 win against the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears without their starting quarterback, who went down injured in the game. For the Tusculum Pioneers, insert all-region quarterback from a year ago, Luke Lancaster, against Limestone, that led the comeback with 5 of 6 possessions scoring touchdowns in a 34-13 win on homecoming. Now, at the Ammons Athletic Family Center in Mars Hill, North Carolina, these two teams squaring off for, as mentioned, the 33rd time. From 2000 to 2009, Tusculum went 9-1 against the Mars Hill Lions, but it has been anything but that of late. Mars Hill has won 4 of the last 6, including this past Saturday's win in overtime. Last time, seems like we were at Mars Hill, we almost had an overtime game. Then in 2012, we did have an overtime game. These games have been very, very close, tightly contested. 17 of the previous meetings have been decided by 7 points or less, and even 6 points or less in at least 4 of the last 5 for Tusculum and Mars Hill. For Mars Hill, they did have the reigning conference offensive player of the week, and it was not Jamel Harbison who was their leading rusher. No, it was the true freshman running back, Malik Prescott. Went crazy against LR with 244 yards, but he did that on 33 attempts. He had another like game against the Tusculum Pioneers as well. Also, Austin Brown, a second-year sophomore, I should say a third-year sophomore at quarterback, and Austin Brown getting the start in place of Mr. Salmon, who was the Campbell University transfer at quarterback. For the Pioneers, they went with Luke Lancaster the entire way. And although his numbers weren't great, the defense helped out the Pioneer offense. Special teams with the block punt, also with the forced fumble and a recovery, giving the Pioneers a short field in order to take a lead. But this game would go down, as they have always gone down, between Tusculum and Mars Hill, to the wire. And it would be Mars Hill that would get the victory by 1 point, a 28-27 win, as the Pioneers went for 2. Obviously, we'll take a look at that, but that is when the Jerry Odom Show continues. The great rivalry between Tusculum and Mars Hill did not disappoint this past Saturday. Mars Hill wins in OT 28-27. The Jerry Odom Show continues after this. Your Greenville Light and Power System, an electrical distributor of TVA, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Your Greenville Light and Power is dedicated to excellence in service and reliability. Visit online at glps.net. Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo proudly serves Tusculum College and supports Pioneer football. Sodexo, making every day a better day. And we welcome you back into the Jerry Odom Show. The Tusculum Pioneers fall to Mars Hill in overtime this past Saturday. Pleased to be joined by Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. He may not be so pleased. We talk a lot about execution and X's and O's and all that stuff, and then we talk about the opposing team's running back, and man, they had a special one. I'm not sure how special he was as opposed to maybe just some of the schemes Mars Hill used to enable him to get open. We weren't great offensively, probably wasn't our best game overall, but a chance to win it in the end, you have to be extremely proud of the way your team fought.
Well, I am proud of the way they fought. I thought we played very well on special teams, except for when we messed up a fake that we could have walked in. I think that kind of kept us in the game because we didn't play great on offense. They were holding our guys. We were trying to get to the second level, and their defensive linemen were doing an outstanding job of holding us from getting up on their linebackers. And I've done that before. It's not legal, but I've coached that before myself. So give them all the credit. They didn't get called for it as much complaining as I did. It didn't seem to matter. We knew exactly what they were trying to do. But their linebackers made a lot of plays, so it was hard for us to get our running game going. I thought Luke played okay. He didn't really hurt us, but he didn't maybe help us either by missing some high throws. Our receivers didn't do a good job of staying up, run the routes crisply. We didn't get to our depth at times. And we just, as an offense, didn't play our best. And then defensively, it's probably the worst game we've played all year by a tackling standpoint. I'm not sure it was the scheme, because if you look, we had guys, we worked it out, and give him credit because he runs hard, but we gave him right around 400 yards. We had 218 yards after contact. That's terrible, folks. I mean, that's one of the worst games I've ever been a part of, and we've got to learn to be more physical. I think, I had a problem with the way, and we've got to work on this. We talk tough. We like to talk after the play, and if, God forbid, if anybody pushes us, we'll push them back after the play and get it up, and be silly and dumb and make dumb mistakes. But we're not being tough enough between that 8 seconds. It's an 8-second war. That's what football is. It's 8-second war, and then you got a little time off and do another 8-second war. And during that 8-second war, we're not warlike. We're very calming. But after that 8-second war, in between there, we want to be all frazzled and angry. So I got to do a better job of getting across what I believe is good, tough, fundamental football between the whistles. That bothered me probably more than anything else. So we had 3 personal fouls because it's not the way our team's going to play. It's not what I'm going to let them play. And we had a little extra running session yesterday at practice to remind them of this is how we're going to do things.
It's a great rivalry either way in the 33rd meeting. They're always close games, always competitive games, however they end up being competitive. I think this was a little bit more competitive because of what the quarterback play did for Mars Hill. He's small back there. Did we have a hard time picking him up and just the fakes?
Not necessarily. We just gave him, they were throwing a lot of RPOs. And I think we gave him too much, on the regular RPO stuff, I think we gave him too much leeway. And then when they went empty, then the Mike and the Will, really, their job is to kind of sit there and pop their feet and eyeball that guy. And we weren't doing that. We were trying to, play more coverage concept instead of understanding that they're going to run a route concept. But if he goes vertical more than 6 yards, which he was doing, he's no longer your problem. He's the safety's problem or the corner's problem, depending on how he goes. And then your eyeballs got to go to him, and you got to go make the play. And I think we didn't play very good linebackers. Probably the worst game we've played all year at linebacker, and that was disappointing. Just because you make a lot of tackles doesn't mean you played well.
Right.
And and I think when you watch the kid run, he's got a big lower body, but you just got to go put your chest right on him and wrap up and run your feet. And my thing is, when you see him breaking tackles, we're diving off the dive board, we're pushing at guys. Right. You don't push a good back down.
Right.
We were pushing him like he was a 90-year-old woman trying to cross the street, and we were in a rush to get somewhere and trying to knock her over or something. And I'm not even sure she'd have gone down on some of the things that we were doing. But we have got to, the frustrating part is we work tackling every day. And we tackle, we make them come to balance, we make them finish that, and we just got to get better at it. I mean, if we don't, then we won't be able to play good defense for these next 2 games.
Pioneer team against Mars Hill from beautiful Mars Hill, North Carolina. So go ahead and take a look at your highlights. Tusculum and Mars Hill, again, the 33rd meeting between these 2 schools. Coach, we're going to pick it up on their first drive. They win the toss. They deferred to the second half. So we've got their first drive. Just some of the plays. Just wanted people to get a look at Malik Prescott, just the type of runner. It's a hard runner. We were pretty good on first downs. Second downs, third downs, not as good against Mars Hill.
Absolutely. But you see, that's a first down play. We wad him up inside, did a nice job of that. And just stuff like that, right there, the end's supposed to stay square. He didn't go hit the quarterback. He stays, and he's the dive player. So we're just doing things that are not usual to what we do and playing the technique that we play. And I felt like we tried to blitz right here. They ran a little trap into it. We should have made the play for about a 4-yard gain. We missed the tackle. Now it becomes a 15-yard gain. And these are the things that become frustrating. 3-by-1 set. We're in good shape right here. We got him all wadded up. So that's how it should fit. But then the next time you don't fit it the same way.
Right. And the one pass they do have, I thought it was a pretty good pass by Brown.
That was a nice throw, but the linebacker there, if 3 is away and there's no fake, he's got a wall number 2 in that coverage, and he didn't even try to wall number 2. So now he puts the safety in a bind.
Yeah.
And so we didn't play very good at linebacker. Like I said, probably one of the worst games we have played. But you see, we've got 3 guys. We're widening things up. We knew they were going to be a pin and pull team, an outside-inside zone team. They didn't do anything that was foreign to us. It was just execution. They executed better than us. The little left-handed guy did a nice job. They come back out here. They're in a bunch set. He tries to throw one. We really should have pushed that coverage over one. Backer messed that up again. We should have put the mic on number 3, and the Will goes over and cuts. It's called a push alert, but we've got to do that better. So then they come back out here trying to throw the quick game. It's not there now, and now, we just didn't make any of these 50-50 plays. That was a terrible throw. If we pick that and run in, his coach is killing him right now. He got a little bit lucky, and that happens. So they come back. They want to run it front side. That's a good fit. So now it's second. When we played fundamentally sound, and guys went and fit this guy, we did a good job. So we come after the punt right here. We get 4 on the shield. Derez Ben did it was exactly how we coached it up. Got his hands through there. Should have blocked one more on a rugby where his hands were too high. But that was huge for us. So we get the ball down at the 10-yard line, come back, and again, run a couple different plays. Try to come out and run the one-back power early on. And Tommy, you can't cut the one-back power back. He's got to keep that front side. And that's a freshman mistake by him, no doubt about it.
Because he had the left corner pylon.
Exactly. And then this is actually a good decision by Luke. They covered up our double slants. It's second down. Throw it away. Live to play another day. That was a heck of a job by Luke. So then we come back and run a corner route over here. Good protection again. I thought when we protected well, Luke threw the ball better, but that's a good job right there. Didn't get great tight end play. That was probably one of the best plays he made all night. But he's got good hands. He's a big body, and he did a good job going up and get that. So now we're tied up 7-7.
Mitchell's catch, 9 yards, touchdown, second consecutive week from Mitchell with the touchdown for the Pioneers. Pioneers weren't done, though. Defensively, very opportunistic here once again. And maybe they let the play go a little too long, but we'll take it as if you're a Pioneer fan.
Well, I thought that too, but you see right there the ball's out.
Okay.
See him strip, and he's not down, and he's still going forward. At first, I was like, wow, boy, that play looked long. And then when you look at it on tape, you see it didn't maybe go as long. So it was a great, again, Derez Ben causing the fumble, strips it out. He was probably our player of the week, I would think. He played pretty good. I didn't think our Mike and Will played great, by any stretch. But then getting the ball, turning him over again at the 20-yard line, and coming out and having a chance to take the lead early in the second quarter.
Yeah, we're in the second quarter. The Pioneers right now lead at 7-6. 2 field goals for Mars Hill.
Right.
Take over right here. Good field position once again for the Pioneers. And, this is a Pioneer. You got Shippey for just a loss of a yard, but then he'll come right back and get you 5 yards. And again, it depends on where he makes the cut, how effective he's going to be.
That's absolutely as big a part of it is understanding where you fit, and understanding what you're trying to do there. We just decided we were going to catch this one twice. Went right through his hands initially, but he caught it on the second go around after it hit him in the helmet. And Rodnell was able to score and put us up 14-6.
Rodnell, who has 2 catches on the day, 32 yards, the touchdown, his second career touchdown. And that's the end of the first half. Mars Hill did get a touchdown at the end of the first half as well, as they score to make it 14-13. So, Coach, we move here into the second half. We're going to go ahead and pick it up with Mars Hill driving right here. And again, they've got some momentum coming here into the second half. And again, defensively, we get a big stop and force a turnover.
Well, and again, I think a lot of it has to do with is a great job. I think it was Brandon Williams we were running a little inside X stunt right there. Brandon read the lineman, popped inside, put his helmet right on the ball, knocked it out. That was a huge play for us because we didn't play real good coming right out in the second. So then we come back. It's third and really long right here. Get good protection. I wish we just stay up. We kept falling down. Like right there, we're yards short, and all we got to do is run, keep running through the football. That's a good throw. So then we go for a fake field goal. And if you look at it right here, I'm going to pause this thing for a second. We were looking right here. See how they're in the middle? They're all bunched up.
Right.
That's kind of the goal. All right, so we had this guy was going to release vertical for the inside guy, but out like he's running a route, we're going to bring Will Boney across for here. Everybody else was just supposed to block down and not allow any penetration. We were going to flare the kicker right here to hold this backside guy, which it does, and we were just going to catch it and run around the corner because they don't have enough.
Right.
And the best laid plans of mice and men don't always work out because we drop the ball, we give up penetration in the middle. Did get a face mask right there that didn't get called. That kind of stunk. He pulled it, and then he pulled off after he pulled it. But we don't get the first down, and it's kind of a bummer play for the, kind of set the tone for maybe the rest of the game there a little bit on special teams. Come back, try to run the quarterback draw to empty. We kept trying to double palms it, which puts everything inside, and I think once we changed it, we're better. Now right here, we're in cover 2. We're too fast for the linebacker right there. Just sit there, make him cross the line of scrimmage, and then hold where you are on an RPO. So they come back, again, a little bit lucky, but I think he was trying to throw another RPO right there, and the back actually ran into him. And we were able to punt. Right here, we had a chance to block it, and I don't know how we missed it. It hits their guy in the noggin. Now, let's talk about that. Once it hits their guy, even if it touches us, we can pick it up and advance it without a fumble.
Right.
We had gone over that just recently, as recently as Thursday. And one of our guys forgot and dove on the ball.
Right.
But we still get good field position, 50-yard line. Try to come out here with a little pitch play. They did a good job. Again, we didn't get on their linebackers. Run the draw, bounce it outside. I think we get about 5 or 6 right here to get us in the third manageable. It's to me a good call right there on a third manageable. And then come back, try to throw the ball outside. Again, we fall down. I don't know why I keep falling. It was a little bit low. I get that one maybe, but we got to try to keep our feet as receivers. Come back, run the draw again. Right here, Tony tries to make something out of nothing.
Right.
Sometimes it's better to just go down. We ended up losing 4 yards instead of gaining 2.
Right.
And then we come back, try to run the bootleg, and again, you see the receiver right here. He's supposed to be about 4 yards deeper. And if he is, he probably makes the catch. So that looks like it's on Luke, people, but that one wasn't on Luke. That was on the receiver not getting his depth. Get a bad snap, do a good job of protection. We're running a vertical over here on their nickel guy, and Luke takes a shot right here to Evan. Evan makes a great catch. Again, score a touchdown.
Evan, for that, it's his first catch of the day, 44 yards, the touchdown, his second of the season as well. The Pioneers cap a 6-play, 50-yard drive. They tie the game there at 21, and we go through the rest of regulation tied at 21. Mars Hill, I think I did show here, they had an opportunity to kick the field goal, and you called the timeout. Is this something that you would do all the time anyway?
Yeah, we had a timeout, so I tried to ice him. Plus, we were trying to get more of a jump in the middle because he kept kicking. See how low he's kicking the ball? Yeah. We really need to move up closer before we jump. And but we got I think you got good penetration. He missed it. We ended up, being okay, with it. Now, right here, this is not smart. We're in a coverage. Our Will, for whatever reason, goes back in the box. We told him to watch the quarterback, and he thinks that means go back in the box. Just sit there and watch the quarterback, and because we knew they were going to run quarterback draw. We're screaming quarterback draw, but we had a game to tie up all the gaps, so the Mike and the Will were free. So we come back out, and on first down, we do a nice job. Get about 6 yards, run the zone to the one technique side, to the weak side. They were mixing that up on us a little bit. Trade the tight end right here. They stunt, and they call holding on us on the guard, on the linebacker right there, which we didn't even pull his flag. So I'm not sure what that call was. He kind of reached out, but he never really got him. So then we throw a ball here. Late, you can't throw late, and so that was probably a bad decision right there by Luke. So we come back, we go empty, they get pressure, they beat us on the side. Luke makes a good throw. I couldn't tell whether this,
Borderline.
I wouldn't have called it either. That's not a call I would have made because when you see the end zone, nobody really pulled him down. He just kind of flopped. You know what I mean? There's no other way to say it. And I didn't argue that one too much. So we come back with our Boise State play. We actually have a third part, which is a pitch to the running back coming right here that we don't need to end up using. But wow, we get the first down on a third and forever, and get down to the 5-yard line, and that was a great call. And that's one of our, we've got several trick things in that Nick likes to do, and that was one of them. And I think that was an excellent call. Run the power. Shippy's got to start holding on to the football in these situations. Now, Kevion Broadwater might be the leading offensive lineman touchdown scorer in the nation with him and Shippy. They must have some Gaffney thing going on. I don't know.
I agree.
But Shippy is in those situations. He's fumbled twice now in the red zone. He's going to find himself not being in there if he doesn't handle that better, because we have to be able to hold on to football. So we get it, and I decided to go for 2. Now I'm going to pause it right here and kind of explain what we're trying to do here, because this gets all jacked up. The tight end was supposed to come off on the ball, okay, and knock this guy, knock that guy back as he's like he's blocking. Then we're going to run crossers and get a double rub right here. But because we take so long and he doesn't come off the ball, he gets stabbed in the chest, he slows it down. Well, Luke looks back the whole time. Luke's got to look over here a little bit more, and he looks back the whole time, plus we get stabbed in the chest and we don't get a clean release right there. Now that guy comes back over because he's seeing who Luke's throwing to. Now, did the guy hit him early? Yeah, he hit him early, but I don't know that anybody calls that. That sometimes they'll call and that sometimes they won't. It wasn't blatant enough, but we didn't execute that play very well, and it was disappointing that we didn't, because the play, I think, would have been there if we'd executed it better. So anyway, that was kind of that, and it was frustrating. Right now I told the kids, I said, if we could play better in overtime games, we'd almost be 500. We would. We'd have a chance still for a winning season. And we're just not finding a way to get that done. And the frustrating part is we practice that some. We practice overtime situations, especially in preseason. We practice it several times in different ways, and we're just not doing a very good job of it. So we'll work hard on that in the off season, because, I think in this league, there's a lot of parity. I think I really do. I think on any given day, anybody can beat anybody. I do believe this year Newberry and Wingate are probably a little bit better than everybody else, but the rest of the league's kind of the same. Right. And I think anybody can beat anybody on a given day, and that's what we got to do going into these next 2 games, and try to win these 2 and finish up strong for the seniors and set a platform for what we try to do next year with recruiting and everything else.
And it says something for this football team, though. Didn't play their best, chance to win it right there at the end for this Pioneer football team. Pioneers fall to Mars Hill in overtime, 28-27. We'll come back, we'll meet some of our players, and we'll also chat with Pioneer coach Jerry Odom, talk about Catawba. That's when the Jerry Odom Show continues after this. Premier Transportation. From the moment you step onto any of the motor coaches, it's clear they pay attention to details. They make sure you have the top-of-the-line amenities, the industry's most innovative technology, and the most advanced safety features to ensure every mile of your journey is a smooth one from coast to coast. The Premier Fleet. Escape the ordinary. The journey is half the fun. Premier Transportation, the official bus provider for Tusculum College Athletics. Tusculum Pioneers and the Mars Hill Lions. Mars Hill knocks off Tusculum by a final of 28-27. It's not necessarily one of the lowest scoring games in this series. Sure, we can go back to the Mud Bowl a long time ago. That was 6-0. The reason that there is the Ammons Family Athletic Center now at Mars Hill, if I can actually get the name correct. But it was a beautiful day on a Saturday afternoon between 2 teams that really were struggling, not only in South Atlantic Conference play, but overall. Mars Hill gets a phenomenal game between a couple of players, a couple of youngsters, and if you're a Tusculum Pioneer fan, you're worried about the future with Mars Hill. Always a stout running game. Listen, Tusculum from 2000 to 2009 dominated, as mentioned, 9-1 against Mars Hill, but that was pre-Jonas Randolph. And then the Harlan Hill Trophy winner won the Harlan Hill. And it seems as if they've always had a running back in that position. You can go back to George Washington. You can go to Shaq Davis. Now it's Jamel Harbison, but now it's Malik Prescott, who nearly runs for 200 yards against the Pioneers. Look, it was a great game, not taking anything away from the Tusculum Pioneers, but the ground game for Mars Hill was very disturbing for Pioneer defensive fans. Offense did their thing. They weren't great, but man, they were timely and opportunistic. Now, let's take a look at some of our players of the week. For the Pioneers on offense, we will start with an offensive lineman. He's a true freshman out of Gaffney, South Carolina, the Herald at Gaffney High School, Kevion Broadwater. For the second time this year, this guy just has a knack for finding the football in the end zone. He's recovered the touchdown on the Jordan Shippey fumble in the first overtime frame to pull the Pioneers to within one. Kevion Broadwater, part of the offensive line, for the future. Evan Altizer, it's not been the type of year for him offensively as far as receiving passes or for yards, but the junior out of Weddington, North Carolina just continues to go about his business. Banged up all season long, did have a catch of 44 yards. It was acrobatic, a one-handed catch in the end zone for a touchdown, and he also was the second end of the hook and ladder on 4th down and forever for the Pioneers in overtime to extend the game. He caught the lateral and went 21 yards inside the 10 down to the 7. Finally, Darius Ben, the senior out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, finished with tying a career high 13 tackles and tied a game high with Lakeith Brown in the game against Mars Hill. He also had 3 tackles for loss, the block punt, and he helped force a fumble on the first turnover of the game for Mars Hill. 235 tackles now for his career, 15 tackles for loss for Darius Ben, again the senior out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Those are our players of the week. It's time to take a look at our call of the game. We don't always have this to talk about. There's not necessarily plays that are worthy, but man, we have had some plays over the last couple of weeks. And I guess we'll talk about the play that actually extended the game, and it happened in overtime, and it was 4th down and 30 for the Pioneers.
Pass across the middle to Barnes, a little hook and ladder to Evan Altizer at the 20 to the 15, down to the 10. First and goal for the Pioneers on a hook and ladder, complete to Barnes.
It's time now to take a look at our post-game wrap-up. The numbers aren't going to be kind as Mars Hill dominated 27 first downs to Tusculum's 12. They had 18 rushing first downs against the Pioneers' 4. Mars Hill ran for 300 yards in the game, 76 yards for the Pioneers, somewhat disturbing. And Malik Prescott went for 172. Austin Brown went for 128. Those are the only 2 guys that carried the football for the Mars Hill Lions. Tusculum passed for 149 as Luke Lancaster wasn't necessarily 100% sharp, 9 of 28 with the touchdown, or 3 touchdowns, including a pick, 138 yards passing for Mars Hill, as Brown went 20 for 28. Pioneers had 61 plays, 225 yards. Mars Hill 84 plays and 438 yards of offense on the day. Punting was great for Cantrell. He had a 46-yard average on 6 punts. Mars Hill had just a 21.5-yard average on 4 punts on the day. Time of possession, Mars Hill dominated 34 minutes, 57 seconds. Tusculum 25 minutes, 3 seconds. Where we are improving, 50% on 3rd downs. 8 of 16. Mars Hill went 7 for 16 on the day. In the red zone, Tusculum went 3 for 3 with 3 touchdowns. Mars Hill went 5 of 6, scoring at 3 touchdowns, going 2 of 6 on field goals on the day. The Tusculum Pioneers fall to the Mars Hill Lions by a final of 28-27 in overtime. Second overtime game in 4 meetings between these 2 schools, talking about just how close this series is. We turn the page. Tusculum Pioneers move on to Salisbury, North Carolina this coming Saturday. We'll chat about that with Pioneer coach Jerry Odom when the Jerry Odom Show continues. Creekside Market has 3 locations in southern Greene County to serve. So while you're traveling to or from any game, stop by and pick up a Hunt Brothers Pizza for those football Friday nights or Saturday afternoons. Creekside Market just off the 107. Locations on the Asheville Highway, Camp Creek, and the Irwin Highway. Creekside Markets in Greene County. welcome you back into the Jerry Odom Show. Pioneers fall to Mars Hill. Good news about that, we'll turn the page. We do carry over some of the goods that happened in that game to take on a Catawba team that will be very similar offensively, I believe. Now, they did lose Sheehan, and they're trying to learn how to do things with a different quarterback, but still going to be this run-pass option, a second threat, 11 personnel type thing for them.
That's right.
If I even used that properly.
Yes, you did.
It's a Catawba team that is great defensively. At least that's what their staple.
They are.
So we've got to be really good. We've got to execute at a high level. What is this Catawba team doing that's going to cause us some issues this week?
Well, I think defensively they're one of the best teams in the league. Them and Wingate. We were up there. I don't know where we are now, but they are similar to us in a lot of in several ways. That they'll give you a lot of different looks. You know, they're going to give you an oaky front, a bare front, an even front, an under front. Play a lot of different coverages behind it. They'll play two. They'll play man free. They'll play forms of quarters. They'll change up. So they give you a lot of things. So there's not really one or two things you can just pick and say, hey, this is what we got to be able to run or throw against this week. And so I think that's going to be, we've been working at it all day today, and we'll continue to work at it. I'm getting a better feel for them, I think, now. I've taken more of an interest lately trying to help, now that I got, the defensive, trying to help and just give a defensive outlook to it. Like, hey, if they're doing this, then this guy's got to play it like this, and this guy's got to play it like that, trying to help the offense a little bit, help with anything I can as far as that kind of stuff goes. But they're good up front. They got a really good defensive end. He can play, man. He's a good player. Their linebackers are active, solid in the secondary. They're well coached. They're a good football team on the defensive side. On the offensive side of the ball, it'll be similar, not exactly the same, but similar to what we saw last week. And if we tackle anybody, we played pretty good. We would have played pretty good because I think the scheme had nothing to do with us playing badly. I honestly believe that. I just think, it had more to do with we didn't play very good. That's really what it comes down to. And at the end of the day, we've got to do a better job as a defensive unit, running to the football, putting our chest on people, running our feet on tackles, just fundamentals, man. Just basic fundamentals. And then we got to do a good job with our linebackers, helping the safeties. Like, we teach a lot of different concepts, but they've got to know where, if we're playing a quarters concept, where number 3 is. Everything works off of 3 and 2, and then they also got to know, if we're in cover 2, where their drops are, cover 3, or we're playing man free, who's the rat and who's going to help and things like that. We haven't been doing that very well lately, and so we got to do that a lot better. We got to play a ton better linebacker if we're going to win this football game, because I told the defensive coach today, this game is going to come down to me, to special teams, and whose defense outplays each other. And I really believe that, because I think offensively they've got some injuries, they got some issues going. We obviously have some issues going on offense right now. Not saying that we're not going to come out there and try to throw the kitchen sink at them, because I promise you we are. But at the same time, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the coaches over there. The program that they built is taking a little bit of time. They're not having the year that I think they expected to have. This was kind of supposed to be their year a little bit, and then the quarterback gets hurt. And they play West Georgia to open, who's about as good as anybody, and we watched a lot of that game. They play good defense against them too. So the bottom line is we're gonna prepare starting tomorrow. The next day and the next day and the next day, and then we're gonna go to battle on Saturday and try to bring home a W. I mean, that's the goal, and we feel like that we're getting closer and closer and closer, but we've got to get over the hump, and that would have been big last week, man, to get over the hump. It really would have, as our goal was to win out, after we beat Limestone, and I felt like we could do it if we got over that hump, and I still think we can do it. I still think we won these last 2 games, but we're going to have to play better than we played last week, with better effort, better better understanding of concepts that we're trying to teach, and just make plays. I mean, we had blitzes coming scot-free that we just ran past the guy. We can't do that. Good teams don't do that. We got to do a better job of our reads and coverages and things of that nature on the defensive side of the ball. So we just got to go, man. I'm honestly, this group of seniors is a good bunch of kids. Miss them, and we got 2 more weeks with them. That's what I told them. I said 2 weeks in this team, as much as you like each other, because I think the team for the most part really does like each other. And we hadn't had the season we wanted to have, but the team will never be the same again. You know, after 2 weeks, they walk out of that door, and you don't know what other people are coming and going and things like that. It's just that's the dynamic of football. Each year is different. You know, you have coaches hopefully stay the same, hopefully, but teams change, and you know, and we need to look at where we got to change for the better. But at the same time, I want those guys to understand this will never be the same after these 2 weeks. Let's go out and we're going to finish things the right way.
It's a Catawba team picked to win the conference to begin the year. Not having that type of year, can the Pioneers go to Salisbury, another intimate setting for you? You'll enjoy it.
I've been to Salisbury before.
You'll like it. It's okay. There you go.
I had
We
the
like
steak.
going.
No, I'm joking.
We like going to Salisbury as well. We get to see Jimmy Lewis and all the boys down there at Catawba College. We'll be there this coming Saturday. Join us for the Pioneer Sports Network kickoff show, which begins at 12:30. We'll kick it off at 1:30 back normal time, South Atlantic Conference play on Saturday. For Coach Jerry Odom, for Nathan Humbert, I'm Brian Stayton. Until next Saturday, go Pioneers.
This has been the Jerry Odom Show. The Jerry Odom Show is brought to you in part by your Greenville Light and Power System, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1947. Sodexo, proud food supplier of Tusculum College. By Creekside Markets, stop in and pick up a Hunt Brothers pizza today. By Premier Transportation, the official bus provider for Tusculum College Athletics. And brought to you in part by Comcast. Join us next time for more Pioneer football on the Jerry Odom Show.